Hello there, Andrew here. Just before we start this week's episode, I've got to apologise for the sound quality in this. I've just sat down to edit the show and realised that one side of the conversation, I won't say whose side of the conversation, it wasn't my side of the conversation, came out very strange sounding. It sounded very Dalek-like and was an hour and 40 minutes long rather than 40 however many minutes long this episode is supposed to be. And it was kind of irredeemable. But I discovered that there was a joint recording of us both on one track. So that is the one that we are putting out. Unfortunately, that means that it's coming through my headphone or earbud speakers, microphone. So it's not great quality, and it also involves a lot of anxious fiddling, just like, the old days, the early episodes, when Stephen used to do that. So I apologise for that, but there is some material at the end that just made it worth sticking with because, the choice was, do we stick with this in this capacity or do we re-record the episode? And I think because of the end, it's worth it. You might disagree, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll hand over to me. Stephen!
Andrew?
Do you fancy spending a quiet night inside number 9?
I can't think of a time when I haven't.
So we're re-entering The Onion at stage episode 2, A Quiet Night In.
So this is a quiet night inside a quiet night inside a quiet night in... No. A quiet night inside a quiet night in.
One layer of onion, mate.
Just one layer of onion, not too many. There's series 3 for that.
So I thought I'm going to start by reading a poem. If that's okay.
It's fine. You didn't pre-warn me about this. I'm off guard.
So they bought you and kept you in a very good home. Central heating, TV, a deep freeze, a very good home. No one to take you for that lovely long run, but otherwise a very good home. They fed you pal and chum, but not that lovely long run. Until, mad with energy and boredom, you escaped and ran and ran and ran under a car. Today they will cry for you. Tomorrow they will buy another dog. This Spike Milligan poem for this week.
Yeah. Good work.
There you go.
I wondered where this was going, and yeah, that's perfect. Well done.
Found one about a dog.
Brilliant.
How
big is Spike Milligan's oeuvre?
There's quite a few poems, yeah.
There?
I didn't specify that I wanted one about a dog. I actually Googled Spike Milligan poem inside number 9.
There's not a database of them that you just search key phrases.
I mean, there probably is actually, or something similar to that.
Next week, homeless person will be your
you can do the poem next week.
I'll try. It's fine. I'll make one up on the spot again.
You can. I'll make up a Spike Milligan poem. It's fine. Yeah. So we're going through the. Just to give context to anybody that's listening, maybe for the first time, we are currently going through the script books, or the script book, with script of series 1 to 3 that were released last year, 2020. If you are listening for the first time, it's probably advisable to maybe go back and listen to our reaction episodes. So this is the second time we're going through these episodes. You're
not designing them as standalone episodes at all.
No, this is kind of a continuity situation where we're not going to hopefully rehash too much of what we talked about in the original ones, which were the main themes and stuff. The aim is to pick up on things we see in the book or the script books and anything that we think we maybe missed the first time round.
We could be wrong.
We're always wrong.
It's rare that we're right. Yeah. Good warning.
Cheers, man. I'm on.
You made
I'm
that?
on a roll here.
Did
Yeah,
you
I
make
made
that one up on the
I
spot?
didn't read it. I didn't. Yeah,
Really?
done a poem and a warning. What a day!
What a 3 minutes.
There you go. So yeah, we're heading to Gerald's house. His very luxurious, very what's the word? Glazed, extremely glazed house.
It's not. That's weird. It's weird that that's not really a phrase it's used to describe a lot of glass, is it?
No, it's more you describe a bum in that sort of way.
Or a look that someone has when there's not a lot going on.
No, because they're enjoying a bum.
There is a lot going on inside this house.
There's loads going on inside this house.
Thank you for that. That was very good. It just landed.
Is there a delay on the line?
Just in my head. Welcome to Externational Gerald's house. Night.
Yeah, there's no days involved in this.
Nope.
It's all
and
night.
Then and then we head into International Living Room night.
We do.
That's never. They may disagree at home listening to this, but as far as I'm concerned, that's never going to not be funny.
If it gets not funny, then we're going to have to keep doing it until it becomes funny again. Yeah, so I mean, what I've done is just underlined and highlighted a few things in the script that either made me laugh or were things that didn't seem to appear in the actual episode. And I was interested in that first bit, the kind of Gerald's house direction, which is expensively furnished but not conspicuously so. I thought it's quite I think they managed that.
I think we spoke a lot about the fact that it's a very sparse house and it lacks warmth and character of any kind at all. But it's interesting that wasn't like a stated thing. I guess you don't need it in the script, do you?
It's a large, newly built modern house, lots of glazing and white walls.
Yeah, and I guess the conversations while they're doing all the set design and things we want this to look cold.
Yeah.
Unforgiving.
That's it. Exactly. Do you know what I found really fascinating reading through the script for this episode? It's just like they've imagined, because you obviously know what it all looks like now, how it's all come out. But like, I would love to know the process of at what stage, how does this come together? Like the imagination.
It's really vivid.
Yeah.
Like you're watching it going, I can't imagine how this could have looked any different based on what they'd written at all.
Yeah.
It's very prescriptive and there's very little actually changed. I mean, I'm stunned at how many pages of script exist for a completely silent episode.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It's not light at all.
What is it? 16 pages?
It depends on your
15 and a half. Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Because I've got 27.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Is that because you've got the special big font?
Yeah. Mostly pictures. I've got the graphic novel edition.
Nice. I really like the description of Ray and Eddie. Ray is small and wiry, Eddie large and clumsy. And it's like, you know exactly who's playing those characters.
I think they should have tried flipping it. Reese wearing a massive suit. A big sumo suit. Yeah. Partially inflated sumo suit.
You've made it slightly more complicated than you needed to.
I'm also very glad about a decision that was clearly made from a personal point of view, that they decided not to wear tights on their heads and went with the balaclavas.
Yes, that's different.
Although having said that, it would have been cheaper for me to ship some tights to Simon Woolley than it was a balaclava. Probably.
You could have probably also just got him to source his own tights. So to speak. I mean, been a while since I've sourced tights.
Imagine if the raffle competition win had just involved me emailing him a link to Amazon and PayPaling
You
him
can get
some
your own.
money. Yeah. You know, it's here. They can post it to you instead.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I'm glad we didn't have to wear tights on our heads.
Because that would have looked ridiculous.
Would have.
Especially if you just design the little Twitter header as well for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It does look quite funny, though, when people wear tights on their head. It is a good look.
It is.
Is it Wild at Heart? There's a David Lynch film when someone... what's his name? Who's the guy in that? Famous actor. But he puts tights on his head. He puts tights on his head, and it just looks... It's a really effective look. It looks really freaky.
It's really freaky, and it does disguise you very well for very little cost.
Yeah, like squashes your nose and makes your eyes funny. Tights. This podcast is brought to you by tights.
We weren't sure what we were talking about there. The answer is tights.
Eddie, this has shone a light on, so to speak, what Eddie was doing when he was holding his broom aloft, trying to smash a security light. I've still never known what he's doing, because it's like, why is it, he's trying to turn it on? Yeah, it's like he's wafting at it to get it off, to get it set it off.
No, smashing it. That's a much better idea.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's a thing. And then, the other thing on that page, or the page that's on in my book, is just this whole idea that these two guys are both extremely professional on the one hand, but also the Chuckle Brothers on the other hand. Like it says about Ray hurrying towards the French windows, he expertly picks the lock and lets himself in. It's like, that's quite an advanced skill to have.
It is.
And under pressure, and to do it so quickly.
They do very well throughout this episode.
Yeah.
They are very close to pulling this off.
They are.
Somehow.
But there's just a few little there's a few bits of attention to detail that are lacking.
Yes.
Like the painting. Do you want to just talk about your little...
Yeah, I don't think we covered it last time. But it suddenly struck me when they were looking at each other about what shall we do now that we've cut this painting out, that they didn't think to bring something with them. That's like a staple in heist films, is that they've got something that gets stuck in. That's like rule number one of stealing an object and trying to get away with it, is to replace it with something that looks exactly the same and have that exactly the same thing pre-planned. Not hack it together with post-it notes and kitchen roll and tin foil, which, to be fair, it looks
Sabrina. Great. Yeah, and it fooled Sabrina and it fooled, what's his name? Paul. Yeah. And actually, just thinking about it, they did have that exchange, didn't they, where I think does Ray know what it is? And then and Eddie is like, what, that? Or is it the other way around? It's one of them. One of them
seems surprised that that's the thing they're taking.
That's the thing we're here for. But the other one knows, obviously, either the position of it, or that he knows what it is exactly that they're looking for.
Position of it was not on a hanging rail, like it said it was going to be in the script. It was just hung on the wall, wasn't it?
Just hanging up.
Just a little choice they made.
There you go. That's a little change, a bit like the texting. There's a little change in the text language.
Yeah, it changed from the script said that. So the thing about the phones is that the only object with the express functionality to be silent is the one thing that isn't silent.
That's a good point.
In this. Like, it has a button, as the instructions for which are sent through text message in a lot of detail.
We all know now. That was like almost a public information.
It was, although I think with those models of phone, not many people are using them anymore. They're using throwback devices. But yeah, the very relatable text that says "ducking idiot." We've all tried to type it, and we've all had it replaced with a ducking, and it makes it all the more annoying. Was that replaced in the script "fat duck"? And I don't know whether that was just because "fat duck" isn't particularly relatable.
Yeah, stop texting me, you stupid fat duck. I think that's it. It comes across as a lot more kind of mean-spirited as well, and
it's directed rather than being exasperated at the situation. It's being
about
directly
him.
aggressive to the person.
Yeah.
Well, I guess calling someone a fucking idiot isn't actually no. Calling someone a fucking idiot is.
I think it's the use of like stupid fat. Is that's a very pointed and mean. I get the impression these guys are friends as well as colleagues. I
guess so.
They have
friends and colleagues,
a good relationship. I think they know each other quite well. Except they've never. It would appear they've never pooed.
They have together.
Unless they just assume that Eddie's taking a bath.
Perhaps when he's in there for a 10-minute bath.
10-minute bath.
That's a quick bath, but a long poo. I really like in that exchange because I think that was one of my favourite exchanges in the whole thing.
And the description in the book is just fantastic.
And that's the thing about all of this direction throughout this is that it's just they knew exactly what this was going to look like. Yeah.
So Ray is appalled at the idea of a poo taking 10 minutes and explains that his poos take only 3. Eddie is stunned at the idea of a 3-minute poo. He holds up 3 fingers questioningly. Ray mimes how quick a process it can be. Evacuate, wipe, flush. Eddie has to hand it to Ray and mimes applause. It's the most beautiful paragraph.
It is, and I can just imagine them sat there in the same room writing that, going, yes. They may have mimed some applause.
I love some of the directions. So, I mean, with the dog. So after the kind of dog arrives and they try and work out what to do with it, and Eddie's obviously allergic. Is it Eddie who's allergic to dogs? And he pushes. Yeah, it says Eddie pushes the little dog with his foot, trying to dribble it out like a football.
That's a Steve because Reese would not make a reference to football.
No, exactly. It's all these like similes, and then Eddie later on. Eddie chases and corners the small dog. He grabs it and throws it towards the French windows like a snowball. It's like a football, like a snowball. A dog is not a ball.
There was a little change in direction that happened. I think they must have forgotten something they'd already written, which was when he tells Eddie to get rid of the dog, and Eddie kind of gestures to say he's allergic to it, and therefore he can't touch it. He does his little sneeze. When we got the process of them deciding to stuff the unconscious dog into the umbrella stand, the directions say that it's Eddie that does it, but we see Eddie remind Ray, "No, I'm allergic. I can't do that." They clearly checked themselves and said, "Eddie can't do that. Eddie's allergic." Yeah. And that also, that's a scenario that changed a bit.
It is, because the dog, I mean, on screen that dog has been stabbed to death in quite severe ways.
With an umbrella.
With an umbrella. But on extra-national patio night later on, after Eddie's going through his like blind moment after he's rubbed chilies on his eyes, and the direction says he manages to upturn the umbrella stand, allowing us to complete the story arc of the little dog, showing it is unharmed as it crawls out and runs off. That doesn't happen.
the fact that it was written into there with that very express aim of completing a story arc.
It's the only story arc that they actually explicitly say they've completed a story arc. It's like this
in
tiny
the
dog,
entire book.
the little football snowball. Yeah, in the entire book.
And it never happens. Well, actually, no. His story arc is completed. He's left unconscious after being lobbed at a window and then stabbed to death by an umbrella. That's the end of his story arc. It's complete.
Yeah. I don't think we see it come out and run away.
Unless we've missed it. Unless we've both missed it.
We might have missed it.
I have to go back and watch it again. When everyone goes, "You're idiots."
yeah. The dog scuttles away. That's fine. So therefore, your Spike Milligan poem at the beginning didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, it would have done because it had run off.
That's true.
In fact, at the moment, it's looking a bit weak at the moment, isn't it?
Actually, yeah, maybe. Hopefully, it did run off.
This is turned.
Yeah, I think it's just the little references about what you're like, the emotions of the characters or how they're feeling at certain things. Like when Gerald and Sabrina are having the little, like they're fighting like kids. Eddie and Ray hiding behind the sofa, listening to the commotion, give each other a look. How childish!
I think I can imagine those sorts of things being like handed as notes after a take, rather than being there.
I think that's what I mean. Like when I'm reading it through and thinking they had such a
it's like
really visual idea of what this looks like.
We're going to be busy performing in this episode, so rather than me having to hand over notes every few minutes about what I think would have looked better, I'm going to be very, very explicit about what we want right now.
Yeah, and that would be a note to themselves as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah. How childish!
How childish!
She I wonder if it was improvised that she decided to drink the G&T that the batteries were in that take. Because it just says he puts the batteries in them, but it seemed like quite a defiant moment where she decides, no, you haven't ruined my G&T. I'm still going to enjoy my G&T despite your best efforts.
Yes. And then that powers her up.
Like a little Energizer bunny.
Yeah. I really want to know, what's that phone?
What's going on in that call?
What is that call? Yeah. Yeah. Because even the way that they describe that, it's so ambiguous, but it's obviously significant. Gerald speaks to the person. So it starts with Sabrina taking out her phone, offering to make a call. Gerald agrees. Then Sabrina's obviously speaking to someone briefly, then hands the phone to Gerald. Gerald speaks to the person on the other end of the line long enough to confirm what Sabrina has just told him. And then...
Is it that she's a man?
Why would he...
I don't know.
But interestingly with that, Eve, in the script, there's no reference to her actually being a man. There's just a reference to her pissing like a horse and being bald.
That is true.
It doesn't say anything about her.
Again, that's another nice simile one, isn't it?
Pissing
like a horse.
Loudly into the bowl. A horse doesn't do that. Yeah, he leans in to get his hand in the jeans. What are we talking about here? Sabrina's jeans strewn on the floor, half in, half out of the bathroom door. Does that happen? Do we get that? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where Reese crawls over to the bathroom door because he can see the jeans on the floor and he's intrigued.
Oh, yeah. He leans in to get his hand in the jeans pocket, but just as he begins to
he needs the key, doesn't he?
That's it. Pulls the jeans towards him. Sabrina's blonde hair gets tossed onto the floor also. It is, in fact, a wig. This, in turn, draws his attention to Sabrina herself, standing at the toilet, pissing like a horse loudly into the bowl. Sabrina is totally naked and without the wig, completely bald.
Not totally. not totally naked in this shot because he's wearing the thong
That's right.
that he adjusts.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think on screen, it is that slightly sort of like, what's gone on here?
What's happened here? Yeah,
because the actor's changed.
yeah. There's no reference to that at all, is there?
No,
Just balls. Who is the actor? I assume it's in the credits. Stunt double.
I don't know actually.
Una Chaplin's stunt double.
She couldn't piss like a horse.
We're gonna have to bring in a specialist. Sugar.
Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot more to.
I'd remember this is the genesis of the chloroform.
Oh, it is. Oh, that made me laugh actually.
It did seem.
And just the fact that there's two things actually. There's the fact that chloroform, because when does he?
When he first gets in, so Ray's intending to chloroform Gerald, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, and when Kim, so has Kim? Oh, that was it. Kim and Eddie have that struggle, and then it's a very casual little direction. That's like they struggle, and Kim drops the washing basket. Kim manages to reach into her pocket and pull out a mace spray. She sprays it in Eddie's eyes, and he cries. I was like, why is she carrying a mace?
Why is she carrying mace? The other thing about her is that when Gerald shoots Sabrina later on, he doesn't seem worried that his housekeeper's still in the house. He doesn't know that she's shut in the cupboard unconscious at that point.
Oh yeah. Does he look in like? Does he?
So he finds her when he goes to drag Sabrina in.
Yeah, opens the cupboard and then goes for another cupboard.
Yeah. He looks a bit confused, but he doesn't wonder where she is when he shoots Sabrina.
Do you think his assumption is Sabrina must have done that, or because one of the things I guess we talked about in the original one was the fact that they're so absorbed in their own worlds that they don't see what's right in front of them.
And I think that was like a running theme through the whole thing, wasn't it? I think that I think at that point, while that's all unfolding, he's in a bit of a panic because he's got the cleaning guy there that he'd quite like to invite in with his cleaning products, but also has to hide his wife's body. So he hasn't really got time to really think about what happened to Kim. He looks a bit confused. Not now. I'm too busy for this. But yeah, it didn't seem to cross his mind that she might be somewhere in the house when he shot his wife.
No,
maybe he was going to shoot her as well.
Yeah, well, maybe he's just not thinking straight.
No, I mean, he shot his wife.
Exactly.
Not in the best frame of mind, is he?
And then he's used Chekhov's soup to try and...
Chekhov's soup. Yes.
That is definitely...
Perfect.
That soup is a setup. That is Chekhov's soup.
That is Chekhov's soup.
I think that does tick the boxes for Chekhov's.
It was used later.
Yeah. But yeah, picking up on the chloroform thing, it's from there, Kim runs straight into Ray. She screams and runs to the front door. Ray chases her and manages to place his chloroform handkerchief over Kim's mouth and subdue her. I was just thinking, like, actually, there's you never know when chloroform is going to come in handy.
Chloroform, through its use in film, whilst quite a sinister product. I guess it's not that sinister when it's being used in its medical context. But there's just something quite funny about its use when they use it in film in this kind of way. It's the ability to have just something on little hanky you put on someone's face and they're just out.
Yeah.
And it seems quite slapstick.
Does it work like that in real life?
I don't know if that's how it works. Hang on. There we go. It's nearly impossible to incapacitate someone using chloroform in this manner. It takes at least 5 minutes of inhaling an item soaked in chloroform to render a person unconscious.
and
There
I've
you go.
tried it.
I tried 10 experiments. The median time was around about 5 minutes. I think. I don't really know. Yeah.
Is it a bit like, on those old sort of 70s spy and like, I don't know, well, yeah, spy films and programs like Man from U.N.C.L.E. and
yeah,
James Bond and stuff, where they, they do the little chop on the neck, and they'd always get it right,
yeah.
and the person would just flop down, like in a similar way to what how the effect of chloroform. Like, does that work? I would imagine so many more people would just get knocked out all the time because people would just do it. Like, it never happened at school, and that's the sort of thing that kids would do, isn't it?
You?
Yeah, you're just like, it's funny, I'm going to just knock him out. Like,
just going down the corridors. No, I feel like, I wonder how many people have been surprised when they've tried to use chloroform because they saw it in a film.
Yeah, didn't practice before.
It didn't work.
Tried to carry out some elaborate heist, or
it all relied on the chloroform. And I feel
laugh.
like it's the fact that chloroform has stuck around through this podcast as long as it has, the fact that we've now devoted quite a large chunk of this one to chloroform and its uses, I think it's quite nice.
Yeah.
Listeners may disagree.
Yeah, it's given us something to talk about. Cool. Have you got anything else that you wanted to sort of highlight from this?
So I enjoyed the direction that said the tension is unbearable. As though that isn't a product of, like the way that it's edited, the way it's been shot, the way that the music is being built, as though the fact that you just say the tension's unbearable. Make sure through your acting that the tension is unbearable. Just seems like an odd direction.
Yeah.
I've learned this week that it is a dumb waiter and not a done waiter. Don't know why I thought it was a done waiter.
Or a dung waiter.
But doesn't matter how stupid something I think was the case. It doesn't matter how stupid I sound. At least I didn't think it was International Living Room Day.
Yeah. It's a nice little reference, dumbwaiter, to the whole thing that's going on here, which
can't talk.
No talking. Dumbwaiter. Yeah.
Good shout. Because it is a strange device to use. Not particularly relatable or something that you consider. It disappears off in the dumbwaiter. Yeah,
I mean, it seems unnecessary in a house like that.
It's only got one flight of stairs. And
it's one of those things that, the owner of this house is particularly lazy.
Yes, we're going to have because I guess dumbwaiters are kind of a sort of a throwback thing, aren't they? Usually in some kind of service.
Yeah, you get them context. In like restaurants and
hotels.
Yeah, and usually are the product of something that has existed in that place because it's an old building or whatever.
Not a brand new building that's been built and
it's a house
massively glazed.
Yeah.
Glazed.
So glazed.
I enjoyed the fact that for some reason they decided to switch out the when Ray is making his purchase from Paul. He buys a washing line, and it would make sense in the script that he would pair that up with some pegs. For some reason, they switched it for a washing up brush, which I guess smacks more of just desperately picking something. Whatever, fine, I'll take this washing up brush.
Yes, rather than a small bag of pegs.
Yeah, rather than small. That would have been more related to what he just bought.
To be fair, I think a small bag of pegs looks funnier in writing than it would.
It does, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
a small bag of pegs.
Small bag of pegs. And I think they made a choice in terms of the final shot. When, for a start, the fact that they don't show the dog escaping affects this, but the directions are that when the painting falls out of the suitcase at the end. Rather than just sort of drifting around in the pool quite theatrically, which gives them a nice closing shot, instead the dogs tear it up.
Yeah.
But like I say, one, there's only one dog, and two, it wouldn't make for such a nice, finish.
And it's not the sort of thing a big dog would do.
No, you just sort of see it, and that's a little yappy dog thing.
That's a little yappy dog thing, like I'm going to really annoy everyone thing.
They're just tearing up a piece of paper or canvas.
Big dog would just be like, I mean,
and I guess it means that Paul also isn't paying attention to it.
Yeah, I think that would probably draw his attention outside, and he'd be like, "What are they ripping up there?"
Rather than, I'll take this painting off the wall. This mishmash of
I would love to
materials.
I'd love to see the sequel to this, to see whether someone spends loads of money on this, believing that it is still the original painting.
Would you like it all to be done in like silent movie with like caper music going on?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
When there'd be like the subtitles up on the screen as he's raging about what he's just had delivered to him.
Yeah, like even more extreme silent movie style.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really frantic piano.
I think that could work. Yeah. Yeah.
Could work.
Like the farce.
Yeah. And I guess taking it to that extreme would be pretty farcical.
Yeah. Incredibly farcical. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Good. Well, I've got nothing more to say.
I think we've probably rinsed that one numb.
We have for now. The juice will return.
The juicy onion will deliver again.
It always delivers again. Right. If you've got anything to, not you, Steve, but like the listener.
No, we've rinsed it numb. There's nothing left.
If you can find any little pebbles of non-numbness to add.
What is that? For someone that's been picking out similes in the direction on that episode, that's a corker, that is.
The pebble of non-numbness.
Easy for you to say.
That sounds like some children's adventure. We're going on a quest to find the pebble of non-numbness.
To help the child that can't feel anything.
Yes.
The child with a severe nervous disorder that can't feel anything. They need to hunt down the pebble of
child
non-numbness.
With leprosy. We're going to find the pebble of non-numbness. Right, should we stop there? If you do have any I need to take that out.
No, I like that.
Like it?
Yeah, I enjoyed
that. If you've got anything to add to what we've already said, we'd love to hear from you. Do email us aquietnightinsideKnow9@gmail.com. Get in touch via Twitter @AQNIN9. It's always lovely to hear from you. We'll speak to you again we'll speak to you again next week about Tom and Jerry. We won't speak to you again about Tom and Jerry. Well, no, we will.
Well, we will. That's exactly what this is.
Idiot. We'll speak to you again about Tom and Jerry next week.
We'll speak to you again about Tom and Jerry again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do me again.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Right. I'm going in search of the pebble of non-numbness. See you later.
Aren't we all? Bye-bye.
Bye.